Welcome to Interior Insights. I'm Jane and we are standing in a very small town in the south of Hamburg in Germany, Bad Bevensen. This little town is known for keeping its old and traditional history alive, and right now we are standing in an old historic post office that has been built in 1905. The post office formerly was always the most prestigious house in a small town such as this. When the owners bought this place, they turned the attic that we're standing in right now into a beautiful, luxurious penthouse loft. And trust me, there are a lot of secrets and surprises hiding in this loft. If you like the video, please make sure to subscribe. As we come in, we can see that the penthouse is located right underneath the roof, which is why we have this beautiful tilt. Often it's difficult to create charming atmospheres underneath this tilt because you don't have that much space, but that didn't stop the designer from creating a very unique design. Formerly, this place used to be the attic, and only when the owners bought it, they renovated it in 2015 and turned this into a space where you can live in and spend your time. As we come up the stairs, we can see that the space is pulled very long into one direction, and that there are no doors or walls integrated whatsoever. And the architecture itself is what makes up the room. The designer has created a very modern design. We have a beautiful sofa area that is very lush. The color palette itself is kept in neutrals, and you have this cool gray that is paired with a lot of different colors of beige. The design itself doesn't feel cold or unpersonal because we have all of these layers that are part of the design. So for example, here we have all of these different textures, such as the different pillows that add a very warm atmosphere, or we have this incredibly cozy rug. It has been knitted from really thick wool, and this just creates a very cozy atmosphere where you can just wind down on your sofa at the end of the long day. Because of the tilted roof, we don't have so much ceiling space to hang lamps, and a clever way to deal with the situation is by just adding a lot of spotlights in the center of the ceiling. We even have a lot of spotlights placed on the floor that really accentuate this angular architecture of the space and that accentuate the triangle that we have of the architecture. Even though the space itself is so modern and you have all of these beautiful clean lines, the existing historic architecture of this former post office was still kept original and was tried to enhance and be integrated into the design. So here, the beautiful wall and the plaster of the ancient building has been really laid free, and it just adds this rustic, unique atmosphere to the design. You know, I always love it if somebody manages to perfectly integrate the needs of the modern times, such as having clean lines and yet keep all of these original details alive. The wall and the plaster with its imperfect structure and with all of these holes and scratches, and it's just imperfect, and this is what creates the perfect design. Or also what I love is that here we have this little original window that is also still from 1905, which is more than 100 years old. And when you open it and look outside, you just feel transported right back to 1905. One fact that I think is very interesting is that formerly the post offices, because they were so prestigious, was always as close as possible to the train station. And this actually also had an advantage because the post offices always used the trains as a means of transporting all of the letters. The interior designer managed to create a space that feels very warm and personal, and she did this through the use of a lot of decor that enhances the story and creates this warming and loving effect. We have this beautiful rattan furniture that is round, and it just adds a new type of geometry, and it feels very lightweight because it is see-through basically, and it has a very thin frame. Over here we have a lot of very clean and empty space. Another fascinating detail is the fact that these are actually the radiators that are being used. These are actually old radiators that used to be used in fabrics, and they were just spray painted in dark black, and they work perfectly, and actually they look really rustic and give this design yet another element. So over here we have the master bedroom, and we have these original wooden beams that have been laid free and that hold the building and that hold the roof. And this is just an absolutely unique way to live. And I love that The wooden beams are again what really make up this design, because you just have this vertical structure that give this room inside a loft its own repetition. You still have all of these visible wooden beams. The reason why it works so well in this space is because you have this rich and unique architecture that makes up for the lack of colors. And because they are not so pronounced, they really pave the way for the star of the show, and that is these beautiful wooden beams. Whenever you're sleeping in a room that has a lot of wood, it just gives you a whole new level of comfort and warmth, rather than it just being a regular space. For the floor, we have again wooden beams that have been placed to just finish off the design. And you can see that I'm crouching down and we don't have that much space, but essentially it's a bedroom, so you don't need that much space. You just need to go to sleep here. For the bedside tables, we have just a very simple solution that consists just of big, solid, massive blocks of wood. And it's very simple and very rustic, but it's still a very charming solution. Over here we have the same designer lamp that has also been used in the living room. And again, we have a very ancient, historic window that adds a new type of geometry because it's perfectly round, and it almost makes you feel like you're living in a ship. And I'm so thankful that the designers decided to turn this from a boring old attic into such an eclectic design. Come with me to the kitchen. So on the other side, opposite of the bed, we have a kitchen. And the kitchen is also tucked inside one of these little other parts of the attic, and it just creates its own natural room, and we enter the room again through the wooden beams that make up the construction. I love it because it's just such a clean design, but yet you have all of these really raw and authentic materials. To enter the kitchen, I need to step over a metal beam of the structure of the building. It's a very spacious layout, even though on the first glance you wouldn't think so, because you have again this very strong diagonal roof over here, and everything is kept in very neutral colors. We have this full-on black kitchen. We have these beautiful moldings that structure the place. Again, you have this very calm and beautiful design, and you can just see that a master has been at work when making and designing this kitchen. Here we have glass panels that cover the kitchen, and if you open them, you can see that the wooden beams extend inside into the kitchen. And you could have just taken them out and created a boring kitchen, but they just went the extra mile to create this incredible, detailed and rich design. On the other side of the kitchen, we have the actual working area. You again have these black panels that are paired with a white countertop. Just again creates this very clean effect, and actually it's always better to go for lighter colors in the countertops, because on dark colors you will see every single piece of dust or every single stain, and lighter colors are much more forgiving. We have this beautiful sink that is completely seamless and you don't even see it. We have all of these small wooden elements that make up the story, and we have this constant use of wood that creates this very warm design. And you just have this very rustic, Scandinavian, simple way of living. Even such a simple thing as like a spoon, for example, can add to the story and create a beautiful design. When you have wooden beams like these, you can easily install something. Here we have all of these hooks that have been integrated, and they just create a very functional design. Over here we have the dining area, and we have a beautiful big wooden dining table that is made from just massive pieces of wood. And you just have this beautiful Scandinavian, almost bohemian flair. We have white metal chairs that feel very light and that don't take up too much space. And we have this very unique lamp. Its structure was created, it reminds me of a lantern. And I can just imagine how beautiful this place is at night when you can light the candles and sit down and drink your glass of wine. And now I will show you the master bathroom, which is, in my opinion, the absolute star of the loft. Come with me. And before, over here, we again have this little area, and we can see that it is literally just an extension of the bathroom, because again, we have this beautiful wooden rattan shelf where all of the towels are stored, and we just have again this little beautiful, almost altar-like situation with a small lamp. And I believe that this is actually also a historic detail, because we have this raw cement that has been laid free. the designer managed to incorporate this like unfortunate situation and turn it into a little star of the design. The bathroom visually still is a part of the gigantic loft, and the space just feels so much bigger, but the bathroom itself still has a lot of privacy. And you have this very rustic metal frames that frame the architecture and again create the sense of a triangle, but the two spaces still feel as one space because glass is see-through. Here in the bathroom, we again have this beautiful light and airy design, but let me tell you, there are so many secrets and little pieces of attention hiding here. This over here is the vanity, and it is just one sink that goes all the way to the top, and it's just an insane design. And you just have this beautiful structure and these little curves, and let me show you. This actually is the water faucet, and it goes all the way from the top, so essentially the water literally runs up to the ceiling and then comes down from the ceiling into your hands when you wash your hands. As the back wall, we again have, like in the living room, we have this beautiful laid-free plaster, and it just creates this authentic and raw connection to the architecture. And I love the fact that even though the bathroom is so clean, this little detail of historic architecture hasn't been covered up. In front of me, we have a freestanding bathtub that is right underneath the window, so you have beautiful lighting in here, and it is a ceramic bathtub that has been made from one piece, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. Or here we have the water faucet that comes out of the floor. So the designer tried to find tiles that were as big as possible, and this is what really creates this beautiful seamless design, because essentially we have one tile added here, and then again we have one gigantic tile that was been added here. And this just allows you to not have all of these little lines between the tiles. Over here we have again the beautiful historic window that is also still from 1905. Over here we have the shower, and it is just a walk-in shower that is very big and very generous. We again have these light spots, and you can see that the design has been fully thought through. We have this beautiful old historic stone, and whenever the chimney needs to be cleaned, it is taken out here, and then you go inside, clean it, and then put it back in. So I hope you like this exclusive loft. Let me know in the comments if you like these neutral colors and these beautiful historic architectures. If you liked the video, please make sure to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for your incredible support. I hope to see you here next week. Bye.